It is Monday night, November 4th, 2019. I just took a pregnancy test and it turns out I'm pregnant. Can't believe we're gonna be doing this again. We're doing this again. We're doing this. So let's do it. In true mama form, I took multiple tests, but let me just tell you what happened. I took one 10 days ago and that was negative. So I was like, okay, not pregnant. Still feeling kind of weird, missed my period. So I took one last night. This is what comes up. Very much so that there's no line in there. However, it's very faint. When I first peed on it, it was almost undetectable. So I was like, what? This is really definitely like 50-50. So this morning, I'm like, I have to go out and get more because I didn't have any more. And so I went out and got more. This, my friends, is a positive pregnancy test. So going on Thursday to confirm this with my OB and we'll go from there.
That's the heartbeat. Okay, hold your breath right there. 2, 3, 4. You see it?
Yeah.
It's tiny. Gorgeous. Congrats, guys.
Thank you.
Here we go again.
Make sure there's no more. Please.
that would be.
That would be. That's beautiful.
All right, guys. You're probably going to be seeing a lot of my filming done in the car only because the kids do not know yet. They're very intuitive, very perceptive. Like if me and the husband are talking about anything, they pick up on it. Mila actually has come up to me several times and it's not like my body has changed that much, but she'll just be like, Mommy, is there a baby in your tummy? And I'm like, no, why? And she just knows and she feels it. She's like, I feel like there's a baby girl in your tummy, which is so funny because although it's a 50-50 chance, the first two I've been spot on with. Like when I was pregnant with Rihanna, I was like, we're having a boy. And then with Mila, I was like, we're having a girl. Anyways, it has been a few weeks since we found out. I think we found out like close to 4 weeks. I very early on, the first two pregnancies, I found out more at like 8 weeks after nights of partying. And I kind of felt it. I knew it, or I knew something was off and I wasn't sure what it was. I was very surprised and shocked. I still am kind of in shock. I was a little bit in denial. I hate admitting that, but I was, just because I didn't feel like I was fully ready for this. So we had our 6-week appointment and, you know, I just wasn't sure what the OB was going to tell me. And she told me, you know, she saw the sac and she even saw the heartbeat, but she said it was so small that she wanted to wait until today, which is the 8-week appointment. I'm going in right now. Probably going to hear a heartbeat, see what's going on. This is all still kind of crazy for me because I know I'm healthy. I know I'm still young. It's just scary because you know, you keep being told all these things like, oh, you're over a certain age. And so high risk pregnancy is that much more, you know, the statistics of that is happening is more and more prevalent and like all that stuff. And so I think I've just been kind of, I don't know, phasing myself out a little bit. Plus the fact that my kids are going to be close to, you know, 6 and 8 years apart. It's just weird. So I don't think I fully wrap my head around this. And I don't think I'm going to until we are done and through with the 10-week testing, which is the most crucial at any time. I mean, it's the most crucial at any time, even if you're 28, 32, or 38 like me. I completely forgot what that first trimester fatigue is like. I am in it. Like, I don't know how I did it with Mila because Rion was still just 12 months old when I was pregnant with her. And I am so tired. This time I've been feeling super nauseous and just feeling like I go through waves where I'll feel great and I have a burst of energy and then all of a sudden 10 minutes later I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I just need to take a nap. I'll just pass out at random times. You know, you're more susceptible to getting sick, all these kinds of things. It's November. We're right in the middle of Thanksgiving weekend. We have a huge family wedding. No one knows about this. And so it's like this whole idea around like, we haven't even told our family yet because we want it to be a big surprise for them. So we haven't told them. We haven't told anybody else. So I got to pretend that I'm still partying it up. because I am definitely the little party starter in the family. So I've got to pretend all these things. I feel like I'm super bloated, even though I think to most people I may not look that different. You know, I just haven't been working out the past 2 weeks because I've been really tired and again nauseous. And this fatigue is real. I remember when I was pregnant with my first, the best way that it always sticks with me, and I tell all my girlfriends that get pregnant and they feel guilty about taking naps or being tired during their first trimester, my OB was like, you know, that first trimester is really like you creating room for your baby. So it's like running a marathon. And when she put it in those terms, I was like, oh, wow. Okay. So I am tired. My body is working in overdrive to create room for this child. So it's okay. And I'm embracing it, especially now with 2 already here. I'm just taking it easy and I'm taking it day by day. And I don't know. I'm listening to my body, but I'm also just kind of scared. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm 38. Am I gonna, all the things that I think went through my head the first time are still coming back again. Like, am I taking the right prenatals? Am I doing anything to hurt the baby? Am I taking all the right precautions? And then even the vein stuff, like, am I going to bounce back? Am I going to get back into shape at 39 when this baby comes out? Because this is 8 years after me going through it the first time. And I'll tell you guys right now, I'm 10 pounds over where I was when I started with my other 2. That means it's gonna be that much harder, I think, plus my age, plus everything else, to lose it. But we will cross that bridge when it comes. The one thing that I will say that I'm, you know, more obviously experienced with and fortunate to know is that everything still goes on. Everything's doable. Everything will somehow work itself out. So I'm not going to worry about that. I just want to make sure that I'm as healthy as I can be for me and my baby. So we're going to go to this appointment and we'll see what it's all about.
Beautiful baby.
So wait, before we thought it was 8, so I'm actually 7.
7 and 1. Look at that heart
Oh my
pounding. Hi, baby. Gorgeous.
So I'm actually 7 weeks in one day. I thought it was 8 weeks, which makes me feel worse about eating as much as I have been and being as crappy of an eater as I have been. But on my way back to my car, picked up a Takaya bowl. I'm trying to be healthier because all I want right now is like the carby Mexican food, like bean burritos, chips, all that stuff. So I'm trying to be really good. We have to come back in 3 weeks to do the genetic testing. She is very happy with how everything is progressing. You know, the ultrasound, it's always so amazing to me how bigger everything looks, even though the baby's just so tiny right now. And yeah, so 3 weeks, I think, is when I'm gonna feel really like, okay, we're gonna find out the sex, we're gonna find out if everything's good. Basically, right around Christmas is when we are going to be telling the family, the kids, and everyone. So we'll see how that goes. It's about, I don't even know, I think maybe like week 9. I am so nauseous. I can't even explain it. Like what I'm doing right now, which is keeping my eyes closed and talking, and like on the sofa is exactly all I want to do. I've never felt this kind of nausea before, and I don't know. Kudos to all you moms out there that do it, because all I want to do is just like crawl into bed and curl up in a ball and just almost cry because I'm just not feeling good at all. All I know is this doesn't feel good, but I know it'll be worth it. So
Hi, Mommy.
oh my gosh,
That's the back.
oh my gosh,
Look at that shoulder. The arms.
Stop. Jeez, this is crazy. Oh, but you cannot tell the sex yet, right?
I can guess.
This 10-week testing that we're doing this for
It's
sure.
called NIPT. It
Okay.
checks fetal DNA in maternal blood,
Mm-hmm.
and it basically tests for Down syndrome, trisomy 18, trisomy 13, and sex chromosomes.
Okay.
That's how we can find out the sex. So it's a genetic test, but we find out the sex.
And then the test that we do like at 20 or 25 weeks, that
Yes.
one is for
20 weeks, that's an anatomy ultrasound.
Okay. I am feeling so much better from the last time I was checking in. I'm actually going back to my OB today to get some more blood work done because I have the universal blood type, which is O negative. And I have to take the RhoGAM shot, which if you guys are familiar with, when you get pregnant and stuff, it's just so that way my body doesn't counteract with the baby's body or blood type. Anyways, it's stuff like that. So some of my blood work came back positive, and so I need to just go follow up on that. I'm gonna show you guys what I've been wearing right now, which is pretty much stuff like this. For me, like just wearing comfy, cozy clothes is all, you know, it's where it's at for me because I'm not really showing all that much. Let me just show you guys. You can just kind of see like a baby little poochie right there. But it's nothing crazy, but definitely something, you know, especially being wintertime, I can get away with wearing all the cozy stuff, all the cozy stuff. All right, guys, so currently in Cancun for a family wedding, and it's kind of interesting because the last 2 to 3 weeks we have been on the go for family weddings, and I haven't been able to tell anybody about being pregnant. So tonight is actually when we're going to tell my in-laws. My first trimester blood work, which is kind of the really important testing, just happened on Tuesday, and the OB is trying to really get all of that back to me by this week. But she was like, I feel comfortable with you telling the family, so go ahead and tell them. So we're going to tell them tonight, and we're going to tell my parents on Christmas Day because we're going to be with them. So see how it goes. So this is crazy because look at your list, Rion. What does it say?
5A surprise.
So there wasn't something, you only had the 4 things, right?
Oh wow, guys!
So
what? Wait, Mama. What is it? Says a surprise SC. Who's SC? Santa Claus?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that means there's a surprise in there. The tin boxes were waiting here. Wait, what does it say on there?
Where did everything go? Big brother clothes. Big sister. Big sister. Best sister.
Best
Sister.
big sister?
Best big sister.
Wait a second.
But you're a big sister? You're not a big sister.
What does it mean?
What do you think that means?
Big brother goal.
Well, you're gonna be a big brother?
Are you gonna be a big
Are you a big sister?
Is there a baby in mommy's tummy?
Yeah.
There is!
There is.
There is, you guys. There's a baby.
Well, you're getting a baby.
We're gonna have a baby.
Yeah!
You guys excited?
Wait, there's a baby in your tummy. What is he a boy or girl?
We don't know yet.
You get a baby. That is so nice. What is it? It's a
Yeah. Wow.
Oh! Thank you, Mom.
What does it say?
What's that picture say?
That's so pretty.
What does it say, Mom? Show me.
What does it say?
I don't know.
I don't know. What does it say?
We are due next year. No!
She was trekking for the last 10 years.
Give him a heart.
We officially told the kids and the family, and that honestly I think changed my kind of view on all of this so much, because I am so relieved that we finally were able to share the news. It just feels like a weight has been lifted. I don't know why this time felt so much more, I don't know, I had so much anxiety around it. I think there's a lot to do with the fact that I feel like really I'm a fish out of water. I'm doing this all over again. You know, after 3 years of being consecutively pregnant and having kids, I just stopped for 5 years and now we're back in it. My daughter and this little baby is gonna be 6 years apart exactly. I think the funny thing is that most people are like, wait, was this an accident? And I'm like, no, it wasn't. It wasn't a surprise. It was one of those situations where we were kind of like, my daughter turned 5 last June, and we were like, oh my gosh, this is it. There's no more babies in the house. Like, we literally have big kids. And so we were like, if we're gonna do this, this is the time. So I had an IUD in, and I got the IUD removed. And it was coming up at the 5-year mark where I needed to get it replaced or removed. And so we were like, all right, let's do this. Let's try it and see. I wasn't expecting it to necessarily happen so quickly. I wasn't really keeping track, and I obviously missed my period. It was right around my birthday, missed it. And so early November realized, okay, we are doing this. And now that everything's out in the open, it feels amazing. I'm so grateful that I've been able to, you know, make sure that everything's safe and everything's good. It was really scary to think about doing this, especially at my age. I am definitely considered, you know, of older age. And so to be able to do this and for it to be going smoothly thus far is nothing short of a blessing, and I feel very grateful about it. Oh wow, that's like a clear shot.
Yesterday there was sun and there was rain.
I thought I would just sit down and go over some of the vitamins and other things that I have been taking specifically this time around that has changed a little bit. So first and foremost, for me specifically, this might be a little TMI, but a lot of times you feel like you have symptoms of being on your period, like very tender breasts and just bloating and all that stuff. After about 7 weeks, when I had already gone into the doctor to kind of get my first, you know, set of testing and all that stuff done, I had a little bit of spotting. And so sometimes the spotting can be indicative of an early like pregnancy, which sometimes people think is just them spotting from like their period. Also, sometimes it's just like the lining in your blood. This is what I've been told. The lining in your uterus, like the blood, is making its way out. And then the other is that it could be signs of some technicalities and things that could potentially get worse, like a miscarriage or something. So I called my OB about it. She put me on progesterone and I had to take it as a suppository every night for 12 weeks until I was basically done with my first trimester. And I noticed so many hormonal changes. My breasts, first of all, huge, like I mean ginormous. It felt like when I was delivering, like when they're full of milk. So that was kind of crazy. I also felt super bloated, and I was just reading on it and it was saying that progesterone can definitely slow down your metabolism a little bit because it's helping get all the nutrients and everything to baby. I am definitely synthesizing all of this. This is just from what I've gathered and researched and also been told by my OB. But so anyways, the progesterone was just, you know, helping things move along, but she definitely put me on it to be conservative and just more cautious. So I was on that, which was different than my other two pregnancies. The other thing is that I definitely, as soon as I found out I was pregnant, started my prenatals, specifically prenatals with the DHA. There are so many out there in the market. You know, you should definitely talk to your OB, make sure the one that you've chosen is good, but I think there are so many that are great on the market. I love Nature Made. That's one that I've been using with 200 milligrams of DHA, which is what you want to make sure you're taking. That helps with bone and baby's brain and all that stuff development. So I'm taking that every day, and I personally like to take things where it's like I don't have to take 4 in ones, because there was this one I found that I had to take like 3 throughout the day, and I was like, oh, I don't do well with that. I just want to take my vitamins when I can, like sit down at one time and do it. The other thing that came back for me, and I've always had a little bit of a vitamin D deficiency, it's just one soft gel capsule I have to take a day. And then the other thing that is new for me is 81 milligrams of aspirin. So baby aspirin I have to take every day. That started in my second trimester. It's supposed to help with things that can otherwise happen, such as like preterm labor. I also had to take, because I am the universal blood type O negative, so I had to take a RhoGAM shot. And because I did have some of that spotting, I had to take that earlier, and I'm probably gonna have to take it again before I deliver. So that's that. The one thing I wanted to just chat about quickly was my birthing stories, more so like why I chose what I did. And you know, I ended up doing 2 C-sections. My son, who was born in 2012, was breached. My OB was like, you know what? This baby has not moved since you like literally were 10, 15 weeks. Like, he has not moved. He doesn't want to move. There must be a reason why he's like that. And so I was like, you know what? You're right. Like, I need to not feel bad about it. I think all the books I read and everything, every person I talked to and all that stuff, it seemed like vaginal was like the way to go, and it's what you want to do. It's like the motherly thing to do. And I felt kind of guilty about doing a C-section, even though, I mean, in hindsight, a C-section is like no joke. It's a real surgery. You are going in, you're getting cut open, and it's scary. So it's not like I was taking the easy way out in any way, but I don't know why, for some reason, I kind of felt like I had to always preface it with like, oh, I'm getting a C-section, but it's because he's breech. And so it took me a second to kind of feel like, it's okay. Like I made that decision for whatever reason I did. And for this particular one, it was medical. So I did that. Anyways, my experience was amazing. I can go into that much later on a different video if you gals want me to. There were a lot of misconceptions around it that I was scared of. Like I thought, you know, when you have a C-section, the scar is gonna be huge, the incision, and nowadays that's not the case. My incision is this big and it's so low, like I can wear a very low bikini and you couldn't tell anything, not that I'm wearing bikinis, but, and my OB has been amazing in terms of she's so skilled at surgery. So the first time I did keloid a little bit, and so my second C-section with my daughter, she cut that out and we got cortisone shots because women of certain ethnicities and that have melanin, you can actually keloid more, and I didn't know that. So because I've never had like major surgery, so this was a, you know, a learning curve for me. And so I went in for 6 weeks of cortisone shots and that helped so much. My scar is literally like a flat little thing that looks like this, and it's non-existent. It's amazing. So I'm eager to see how it goes this time. With Mila, the second time that I was going in, I had the choice because she was not breech. And I was like, you know what? I'm just comfortable with this method and I'd prefer to do it. And my OB was the same OB. And she's actually the same OB that I'm going to this time as well. For me, having the peace of mind of going to the same doctor that I've been comfortable with for the past 2 pregnancies was really important to me. As of now, we are scheduled for a C-section in early July. So that's about it. Oh, before I go, I do want to show you guys my belly. That's a good one, right? I think I've shown it, and I've definitely shown it on Instagram. I'm technically a little bit further than my first trimester right now. I'm 14 weeks. To give you a sense of where I am and where I was. When I was pregnant with my first 2 kids, I was about 10 to 12 pounds lighter than I am now. So I was started at like 115, 118. And then I gained about 32 to 35 pounds. I started at like 128. So I was definitely 10 pounds over where I was starting. Time has passed, I'm 38, and you know, I feel like I'm happy. I was very happy and I am happy with where I am, but I was definitely like, oh, I could lose another 5 pounds or just get more toned. And I don't think I really look to the scale that much anymore these days. For me, it's more so how the clothes fit me and how I feel and that stuff. So anyways, now the only reason I'm paying attention to weight is because I just want to track to make sure I'm being healthy for the baby and myself. The first trimester to gain 3 to 5 pounds, or it actually is like 1 to 5 pounds is normal to gain. I actually, with my first 2 pregnancies, lost a lot of weight in the first trimester because I cut out drinking completely and I just went kind of crazy psycho with eating healthy and stuff. This time I'm like, okay, I'm just nauseous, I'm tired, whatever works, I'm going to eat. Each week from here on out until I deliver, it should be 1 to 2 pounds a week. I have some friends that are like, oh, I only gained 15 pounds in my pregnancy. I'm like, who? What? Who are you? Can I be you? Let's just look at this little baby, shall we? Shall we? This is what I look like. You know, I'm kind of in that phase where you're just wearing loose shirts because if I go like this, it doesn't really look like that big where you're like, oh, is that a baby? What is that? Are you just gaining weight? We don't know. So right now, this is what I look like right here. So yes, I definitely have the tummy. It's growing and I think it's gonna significantly start getting larger now, but this is what it looks like at 14 weeks. So we will check back in my next vlog and we will see how it's going. Anyways, that's enough for this little vlog. I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me, and that's it. I'll see you guys on my second trimester vlog. Bye.